Our guest today in iRead is Dr. Michael Hall. Dr. Hall is a psychologist graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Management of Human Resources. He received his master's degree in clinical counseling and psychology from Regis University in Denver, Colorado, and his PhD in cognitive behavior psychology from Union Institute University. He discovered the field of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a system of alternative therapy intended to educate people in self-awareness and effective communication, and how to control and change the patterns of mental and emotional behavior. For 20 years, he conducted a private therapy practice, and for 10 years an NLP training center. He shifted to modeling expertise in the early 1990s, and from that he created and wrote more than 50 books about NLP and neuro-semantic models, including the meta-states model.
Can you tell us your journey? How did it start for neuro-semantics?
A person told me that he could resolve a phobia in 10 minutes. Okay. And when he wouldn't tell me how, he told me the book that was involved with that, which was Frogs to Princes. And so I read that book and then got interested in the field of neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay. People prefer attending workshops more than reading. Why do you think this?
In Western cultures, books that sell, 75 to 80% are all novels.
Yes.
So they're reading,
yes,
but they're not reading anything that's going to do self-development or self-actualization or skill development, competency. When it comes to self-development books, now we're talking about 5% of all readers.
Okay.
So most people who actually develop will go to workshops rather than reading.
Okay, to experience.
Yeah, they need to experience it because knowing it is not enough. And that's where NLP and neurosemantics comes in, because you can know things and can't do them. So our theme is to close the knowing-doing gap.
Scientists found Albert Einstein's brain when dissected. The inferior parietal lobe, which is responsible for mathematics, is 15% wider than any normal person. So what happens to a reader brain?
The brain processes information, and there's the 8 visual lobes. There's the associative lobe. There's the motor lobe inside that does the motor cortex to activate us into action. So it depends on what you're reading and the quality of your reading.
Neuro-semantics discovered that reading fiction can improve the brain function in a variety of levels and open new neurobrain paths that doesn't exist before. How does that happen? Yes.
Getting people to think in new ways will run new neurocortical pathways. Okay. So anybody who doesn't think a new thought and just reading the same thing, thinking the same thing, is just going to be habituating whatever their thoughts are. But the brain can be expanded, and it's not like a muscle, but it does grow through use. And the best use is when we're thinking about something we haven't thought about before, and we're being stretched and challenged to think in new ways.
Do you believe in chance or choice? What
chance occurs to all of us every day. Any moment, an airplane could crash in this room. Okay. Chance, randomness. The world is full of randomness. Okay. Read the book, The Black Swan, and read about randomness. Read the book, Thinking, Fast and Slow by Kahneman. Okay. It's about randomness. The whole subject of randomness, it exists everywhere. Now, inside of that randomness, you and I make choices. Okay. And so choice is something we can make.
How to be easy for people to start reading?
Well, a person has to set that as a goal, have a big reason why, okay, know a process to read. A lot of people don't know how to read. They read in bed. Okay. Worst thing in the world. The physiology of lying in bed or sitting back on a bed is the worst physiology. So most people don't know how to read. They don't know how to take notes. They don't know how to think while they read. So it's passive reading, and passive reading means they're not thinking.
What's your favorite book of all times?
I'd probably take Science and Sanity by Alfred Korzybski.